Hey, good afternoon everybody. Today I'm going to show you how I make Chili-Tamarind Chickpeas. Yeah, this is a healthy dish, so don't click out. We all should be eating better, or specifically I should be eating better. But the challenge for me for sustainability in this endeavor has been finding something that actually tastes good. Not one of those items you run into a party where after the obligatory you find like a napkin to spit it out in. But enough of that. Here's the recipe. It's pretty simple. Equal parts of chickpeas and diced tomatoes, couple onions, the seasonings all mixed in advance here for ease, and the secret ingredient, tamarind pulp. Now, if you're fortunate enough to live in a location or have access to markets where you can buy pre-done tamarind paste in a jar, just use that. I'm assuming most people won't be able to get that, and that's why I'm using this. Tamarind pulp comes in generally 1 pound or 16-ounce packages. So if you do the math, you'll see that I've pre-scored this one into 4x4 and 2x2. So I get these little squares where one square is approximately 1 ounce of tamarind pulp, or close enough that it doesn't matter. This stuff is extremely sticky, as you might have noticed. So there is our 1 ounce. One thing to consider here is how saucy or soupy you want the final product, because all the water is going in. So I do recommend at least 1 cup, preferably 1.5. I don't want to have to be chasing this, and I don't mind it boiling down, so I'll do the full 2. And leave that on the side to dissolve while I get the onions going. You want to give these as fine a chop as you can manage. Heat up the oil over medium-high heat. Add your onions. And just let those saute for a bit while you check on your tamarind and drain the chickpeas. So it's started to soften up. Hasn't quite broken up yet. So get a big spoon and kind of help that along. Now, this stuff says it's seedless. And it generally is, but I'm not willing to risk a tooth on advertising, so I always check through this and take out any seeds that may be in there, because every once in a while there is one. And also, after it's dissolved, I'll pull out the pulp because it actually doesn't really lend anything to the dish. So you can see after I've opened them that, yeah, you never want to add these directly to your dish. They're slimy. They have things in the water like disodium EDTA. So you know they still need a rinse if they're frothy. If you don't have a setup like this, just soak them and change the water 3 times. Let those drain. How much you cook these depends on personal preference. Okay, if you want a really strong flavor and a crunchy texture, hardly saute them at all. If you want to go midway, just do them till they're translucent. And if you want to get a really deep flavor to the dish, what you can do is saute them till they're nearly caramelized. Gives a very interesting flavor, but it takes a lot longer. So I kind of picked out pulp, and what do you know? There's a seed in the middle of one of these. So I'm just going to discard this bit. Again, this is to taste. If you want a really strong flavor, what you can do is, and this is a good way to get out the pulp too, you can get a little strainer and scoop up the pulp, and then use a spoon to press out any of the tamarind goodness that's trapped. And you'll see here that it's on the back of the strainer, and that what you do is just put it back in the water and continue like that. And if you want a light flavor, just pick out the pulp and throw it in like that. The onions are cooked. I just put in all the spices at once. So this dish has a nice balance. It's got the tamarind for sour, the chili flakes for hot, the brown sugar for sweetness, and the cumin just gives a nice earthy undertone. Just mix that in a bit. Your tamarind water. Oh, and if you missed a piece, this is a lovely time to chase it out of the pan instead of biting into a tamarind seed later. Chickpeas will have drained enough by now. And the tomatoes. Once that's all mixed up, I don't have a lid for this pan, but I do want it to cook covered, so I don't want all the water to boil off. So I have a very large roll of tin foil. I highly recommend y'all get one if you can. And I just put a piece over this and check it every 10 minutes or so, just for one stir. Now, again, depending on how you want this done, I'd suggest absolute minimum 10-15 minutes. Some people like it at 20. I prefer mine overcooked at 30. Again, this is preference, and I'll just come back when it's done. We're at the 10-minute mark. That's looking quite good. So I'll tell you what, I'll split the difference. And instead of cooking it for 20 or 30, I'll cook it for 25. Yeah, because that amount of liquid looks just right. I'm going to set it right down to low, so it doesn't boil off, and come back in 15 minutes. This is a good consistency now. I'm going to transfer some to a bowl to show you. Because it's chickpeas, it will thicken up when it cools off, and it's too hot to eat right now. It smells really good though. There's the finished product in a bowl. About 5-10 minutes later, you can see how thick the sauce has gotten. I already had a taste, but I'll have another one. Taste. Very nice, complex flavor. And of course, because this is personal, you can adjust the spices up or down to your own preference. Now, this is something you can bring for lunch every day and not regret it. So, I hope you give this a try. Thanks for watching. I hope you see you again. And if you like my channel, please subscribe.